Hello everyone. Today I'll be making chicken and dumplings. It's a family favorite and today I'm making it for you. I've made it for lots of other people over the years and they've always wanted to know how this is done. So today you get the treat of watching it done and you can make it yourself. The ingredients you'll need are an onion, some flour, salt, pepper, paprika, very important, chicken broth, sour cream, some oil, eggs, and the chicken. Okay, so after you peel your onion, you want to slice it and make the slices as thin as possible. You notice these are pretty thin. It's really critical that you get them as thin as possible. You're then going to take them, I put a little bit of oil in my Dutch oven here. Okay, not too much, just a little bit. And then we're going to start frying them. Okay, so over a medium heat, you can start frying your onions. We're going to fry these to the point where they completely caramelize. And that'll take, if you do it right, 10 to 15 minutes. The whole recipe here takes at least 2 hours, so budget that time accordingly if you plan to make this. All right, so we're still frying the onions. This is probably 6, maybe 7 minutes in. You can see it, they're reducing, but I still got a ways to go to have them fully caramelized. You got to keep stirring them. You don't want them to burn. And this is under a low flame, low to medium flame. Okay, this has been about 12 to almost 15 minutes. I haven't really didn't time it that well, but you've seen they're pretty much caramelized now. They've reduced down quite a bit. What we're going to do is we're going to put in some pepper. You can pepper it to taste. My dad always peppered it a lot. I'm going to say this is probably maybe a teaspoon if you're the measuring type, maybe a little bit less. Okay, he always said that this activated the pepper. And then you're going to get your paprika. You can do the same thing with the paprika. Probably a good tablespoon, maybe 2 tablespoons of paprika. You're going to get that just so that it starts activating, gets it hot in that oil. Before it burns, you're going to take and deglaze your pan. Okay, now I'm going to put my chicken in there. This happens to be boneless, skinless thigh meat. Traditionally, what is used in this case is a whole chicken. And the reason you want to have a whole chicken, you'll notice that like in this thigh meat case, there's a lot of fat on this. And the fat gives you a lot of flavor. If you use boneless, skinless chicken breast, you're going to lose a lot of that flavor. It just won't come out with a bold flavor. But I chose this thigh meat mostly because it was all there was at the grocery store, because this is being done during the coronavirus situation. So I was very limited on what I could buy. But this had a nice amount of fat on it. Doesn't have the skin, so it's going to be a good choice. You put it in here in the pot, and you're going to start it to cooking probably 45 minutes. Okay, while the chicken is cooking, we're going to make our dumpling batter. And there's a little formula here. It's real easy. 1 cup of flour to 1 egg. So today's batch I'm going to use 3 cups of flour. This is just regular flour. 1, 2, and 3. And I take the eggs, crack them in. 3. And then I need to get a, okay, we're continuing on making the batter. Just putting it on some salt here to taste, maybe a tablespoon or so, and a little bit of pepper here as well. This is where it gets a little tricky. We're gonna add chicken broth to this in little amounts because we're gonna work on getting a consistency here. And that will be the key, is getting the right consistency. Now, if you accidentally put too much of the broth in and it's too runny, just put in a little bit more flour and another egg, and you'll just have more dumplings in. Okay, so I added 1 full can, 14 ounces, and probably about a quarter of another one. This is to 3 cups of flour and 3 eggs. You see this consistency right here? This is about what you're looking for. It wants to be a little thicker than you would make pancake batter, all right? It's got to be able to at least fall off the spoon, but you don't want it to run off the spoon. That way your dumplings should be in good size and consistency. Okay, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna set it aside. Okay, now we're gonna make a thickening. This also gives it a lot of flavor. I'm gonna take approximately 5 or 6 ounces of sour cream. It's kind of helpful if you leave this out to just warm up a little bit while you're waiting to do this. Like when you take your ingredients out, take out your sour cream too, and you don't have to take out the whole container like I did. You can just take out and spoon out the amount that you're going to use, and it'll start softening up. Put a little pepper in it, a little more salt. I'm going to take probably about 3 or 4 really heavy tablespoons of flour. Now we're going to take the chicken broth that we didn't use yet. We're going to add that. And this, you do want to have it to be a liquid consistency. So you're going to go ahead and start putting this together and have the flour dissolve or mix in. You may have to come back every once in a while and give it another stir. But currently, we're waiting for the chicken to cook. So you can do all this while you're waiting for the chicken to cook. All right. Consistency's good. It's still got some lumps in it. Those lumps will continue to soften up and dissolve as we let it sit. All right, so now, good time to take a little break. We've probably got a half hour or so till we're ready to start making our dumplings. Okay, well, it's been about 45 minutes. This chicken has been cooking. I'm going to take the chicken out, let it cool a little bit. We're going to put it back in later, but we're going to cut it into more bite-sized pieces. It's falling apart. Okay, it's time to make the dumplings. We have our batter here. This is the spoon that I use to mix it up. I'm going to take that spoon and I'm going to put it in here, get nice and hot, and I'm going to turn the heat all the way up on this. So I want this to be as rolling boil as I can for making the dumplings. All right. Okay, so now the mixture's boiling real well. My spoon's really hot. Now I'm going to take little spoonfuls and drop them in. These will be the dumplings. Oops. Just kind of bite-sized pieces. You can make them smaller. You can make them bigger. It's all up to you. After a little while, I let them cook. Doesn't take too long for this to cook, and they will start rising to the surface. So here's a dumpling right there. Give them a little time to cook. Notice that the boil went away because we absorbed all the temperature by adding these dumplings to it. I'm going to wait for them to pretty much rise and get this boiling again. And then we're going to add some more. I'm going to take out some of the dumplings that are starting to fill the mixture. Just take them out so I can make some others. Let's say once they come to the surface like that, only takes a few minutes. You notice the difference in the shapes. It's just there's no uniform size here. Kind of bite size. Once I take out a goodly amount, I'm going to make some more. My batter's just about done here, so I probably have enough for a few more here. All right, so all the dumplings have been made, and now it's time to add the thickening agent. There's the thickening agent that we made earlier. All the lumps have been able to work out of it. It's nice and fluid, so we're going to start adding this in just a little bit of time. Kind of stir it as you're putting it in there. It's not going to make it incredibly thick. You don't want this to be incredibly thick. It'll actually thicken over time. It'll be a little bit soupy the first initial amount, but you'll find that this will need to be thinned out if you cool it and then reheat it. Okay, so we're still adding that. All right, just about got it in there. Just gonna pour the rest in. Got that nice creamy look to it now. That sour cream adds a lot of flavor. We're going to let this come back to a boil. And we're going to add the other dumplings that we took out. Put those in. We're going to add in our chicken. Then we're going to do a little taste test for salt and pepper. I know that some people are more sensitive to salt than others. My dad used to salt it so much that it was just very, very salty and peppery as well. But fortunately, those are seasonings you can add to taste. And notice now the pot's full. And all I did was add the chicken back and the dumpling mixture. So what we start out, we had about a half Dutch oven here. Now it's full. All I'm doing now is I'm going to check for the salt and pepper. So I'm going to do a little taste test. Definitely needs more salt. I'll put a little more salt in. And I'll put a little more pepper too. Okay. Mix this in. You can obviously salt and pepper to your liking. But ladies and gentlemen, this is it. You have now made chicken paprikash, aka chicken and dumplings, a family favorite in my family for my whole life. Hopefully it'll be in yours too. It's known as a meal that makes a lot. There's probably easy 10 to 15 servings here. Add that with a green salad or some vegetables, and you've got a complete meal. And that's it, guys. Enjoy chicken and dumplings or chicken paprikash.